Hello Internet, I've just got home and had these delivered. Wrong Turn 1 to 4, the Carnage collection, and Wrong Turn 5. Bizarrely, it was cheaper to get them like that than all in one box set. So I've got to take this guy out for a walk, and then when I get home I'm going to crack open a beer and put the first one on. I've already seen it back in 2003 when it came out, so we'll see how it holds up to how I remember it being in 2003. Wrong Turn, it's pretty good. Decent gore, decent action, nice throwback to a grungier Texas Chainsaw style movie. Can't really remember how it ends or who survives or that, or I think in 2014 I won't be able to remember how it ends or who survives or anything like that, so yeah. Why'd you ask? Okay, the dog's been walked, burger and chips have been purchased, the beer is open, so let's just watch some teenagers get sliced and diced. Well, we're 30 minutes in and you could really play a spot the cliche drinking game at the moment. You've got the newspaper clippings, opening credits montage, the obligatory no cell phone reception shot. You've got one of the dudes pulling up to a skeezy backwoods local yokel shop, and the guy running the shop, some inbred fuck who mutters ominously about what his fate's going to be when he takes this back road. You've got a couple of stoner kids. You've got the shack that they find surrounded by wrecked cars, and the shack's full of stuff that these hillbilly cannibals have obviously collected from all their past victims. I looked it up while I was watching it because so much of it was reminding me of the Platinum Dunes remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Both films came out in 2003, and for this first act so many of the beats are almost exactly the same. I even checked to make sure that two different dudes wrote both the films, because some of it was beat for beat, so I think my memory's given this movie a lot more slack than maybe it deserves. I don't know, maybe some of this stuff became more cliched in the intervening 11 years. It's still good fun. We're half an hour in, and we just got to the first standout scene that I remember. There's been a crash in this backwoods road, so a group of kids split up, a couple stay with the car, others go off to see if they can find something, and the group that go off have found the shack. They've found the inbred cannibal's shack. And at least in a detour from the original Texas Chainsaw template and the remake, obviously you don't go into these places because bad things happen when you go into them, but this time round the shack is actually abandoned, but whilst they're in there the cannibals return with with the two friends, the stoner kids, the stoner couple that they left behind. So I remember what happens next still, so I'm looking forward to hitting play again and getting back to that. At the moment though, the only other giggle I've had is that one of the couples, the dad, one of the dudes is the dad from Suburgatory, and his girlfriend is Lorelei Martins from The Mentalist, one of Red John's acolytes. So it's kind of weird to see them younger and in this movie, and so far Eliza Dushku's competently frowned and looked like Eliza Dushku. She's not going to really be stretched in this movie, and that's good for her really, because when she's stretched it doesn't work. When she's in Bring It On and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she's fine. In Wrong Turn, she's going to be fine. So we're going to crack on, and we're going to get to the first real gore fest. Okay, we're an hour in now, and we've had the two big set pieces that I remember from the first go round. We've had the cabin scene where our four kids have had to hide and stay silent whilst our three cannibals have chopped up their friend. Off goes the arm, off goes the leg, and the cannibals chase them out into the West Virginia woods, where about half an hour later there's another pretty decent set piece, a nice chase through the treetops that ends in another pretty gruesome death, probably the best death of the movie, to be perfectly honest. Spoilers, poor Lorelei Martins from The Mentalist is up against a tree trunk high up in the branches of the tree, and one of our cannibals sneaks up behind her with a double-headed axe and there's what can only be described really as a money shot where the camera starts off close up on her pupil, sees her pupil dilate as she shuffles off this mortal coil. The camera pulls back to show the axe embedded in the trunk of the tree, and it's only her head from here up that's remaining, and as the camera pulls up you see the rest of her body tumbling through the branches below. Spot on. The whole treetop chase sequence is pretty original for a movie that's pretty damn generic, let's be honest. This was a nice breath of fresh air there. So the body count's at 6 now. We've only got Eliza Dushku and one other dude left. We're in the home stretch of the movie. The three cannibals who we learn from the credits are called One Eye, Sawtooth and Three Finger. Are going to be chasing them. So final leg, 20 minutes left. Who lives, who dies? Let's find out. So I've put the death toll tentatively at 10, and that's including old Sawtooth, Three Finger and One Eye, although despite getting hit by arrows and axes and stuff, they were all still moving when the shack blew up. So you know the rule of horror: if you don't see the body you can't confirm the kill. So anywhere between 7 to 10. Since I last left you, the Dushku and the dude spent the night behind a waterfall, then got into a bit of rough and tumble with our fun-loving cannibals. The dude got pushed down a hill. Dushku got taken back to the shack, where she was kept alive. She's the only one in the film that they kept alive for any length of time. They tied her down to a bed and waved a knife at her a lot. I don't know why that would be, apart from the obvious fact that she's Eliza Dushku and she's the heroine of the movie, so they're not necessarily going to kill her off. One thing did occur to me: the three cannibals are all male, so maybe they were keeping her for breeding stock. Who the hell knows? Anyway, they grab her. Dude flags down a sheriff or a ranger, or whatever the fuck they're called, in West Virginia, who has about 3 minutes of screen time, tops, not even that. He barely gets a couple of lines out before he gets an arrow through the eye. He's toast. Dude manages to hide, but hitches a lift under the truck back with the cannibal and the sheriff's dead body to complete his hero's journey to save the Dushku and blow up the shack and possibly kill the three cannibals. Alright, we get to see the sheriff's head come off as well. They drag him back into the shack and lop his head off. As far as comparing cannibals between Wrong Turn and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I know the TCM guys had the family history with the abattoir and that, but they definitely did seem to have more of a handle on cuts of meat and how to use it. Our hillbilly cannibals here in Wrong Turn just seemed to be dragging bodies back and lopping bits off, an arm, a leg, a head, with no real care or concern about prime cuts of meat or anything like that. These guys are our inbred cannibals here, not exactly firing on all cylinders. I guess it's all good. It all goes down the same way, I suppose. So that was that. It was good fun. It's nothing to write home about. It's generic, but I will give it points for not being a remake or a reboot, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. The Platinum Dunes Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out in the same year. How would I place them? Because I saw that relatively recently, and that was actually a lot better than I remembered it being. This is a lot. This is a little bit worse, a little flatter than I remember it being. Points to Wrong Turn for it being an original screenplay, even though a generic one, but points to Texas Chainsaw Massacre for R. Lee Ermey. Really, he's the fucking standout in that. I don't know, they're probably neck and neck. They're not going to set the world on fire, although the Platinum Dunes Texas Chainsaw Massacre spawned one sequel, which was actually a prequel, and this has quite surprisingly spawned 4 sequels, although I believe one's a prequel, maybe 2 are prequels, I don't know. I've only ever seen Wrong Turn 1 and 2, so we're going to do 2 next. I remember that being a god-awful pile of shit, but we'll get to that. Maybe life will karmically balance out. This one was a little worse than I remembered it. Maybe 2 will be a little better than I remember it, and then we're going to plough into 3, 4 and 5, which I've never seen, so I'm quite eager about that. I wonder whether they moved to prequels because they ran out of ideas, or because they wanted to bring Sawtooth and the rest of this crazy gang back. I'm eager to find out in part 2 whether they've survived, as is horror movies want. You know, getting blown up in a shack is no guarantee that our villains won't return. Or maybe there are just a shit ton of inbred cannibal hillbillies running around West Virginia. Who knows? I've never been there, so I can't comment. Anyway, that was Wrong Turn 1, or as it's known, Wrong Turn. And next time we'll do Wrong Turn 2, and see if that's as craptastic as I remember it being. But that was fun. I don't think I'll watch it again for quite some time. It's fun, but a little bit like a bottle of Coke that the lid's been unscrewed a little bit and it's gone a little bit flat. But yeah, we'll see. Thanks.